Well, good afternoon, and welcome to the Countdown to Pull Time show, live here from Lufkin, Texas. We're about 2 hours north of the Houston area. And what a pull we've got here tonight. I'm Dan Mayer, joined by Ron Stone. Ron, we have got some awesome competition here tonight, don't we?
Dan, we're super excited. This is the biggest show we've ever had here at Lufkin. This will be our 5th year. I mean, literally, we started out here with just kind of less than 20 hooks, I will say, about 18 to 20 hooks the first year. They just want to see how the tractor pull would go, along with all the other festivities going on here. Of course, you've had a chance to walk around. There's semi-drags, a semi-truck show. We've got a concert going on here tonight. And, of course, the pinnacle of the weekend, the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pull here tonight and tomorrow night. Beautiful weather here. It's 88 degrees, but, man, we got a little bit of fall in my veins right now, and it feels like it's 108 to me, Dan.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had the 90s, and we had a spell there about a month or so ago, but yeah, it's gotten a little bit cool. But we see we're here in the Pines. Now, we talk about the Draggin Pullin in the Pines. Well, we're surrounded by them here. What a beautiful facility we're at.
Yeah, awesome facility. It's a really cool drag strip. The Pine Valley Raceway is what it's called in Lufkin, Texas here, just south of Nacogdoches, Texas. We got Longview to the north, and like you said, Houston about a couple hours to the south. Only a couple hours, I think, from Shreveport, Louisiana. So a lot of big towns around us here, and a very nice facility. If we look up here into the pit area, they were running out of camping spots here, and I'm an admin on their Facebook page, Dan. And just judging by the questions and the messenger messages that they were getting, I feel sorry for whoever had to answer all those questions, because I think it would require a full-time position, because this year it is just off the charts, the amount of interest in this event. We're expecting a really big crowd here.
Yeah, absolutely, and you couldn't ask for better weather. We have got Chamber of Commerce type weather here all weekend long, and they're going to fill it up here. And we can see, it's Friday afternoon, and, pit area is pretty well full. We've got the parking spectator area, that's pretty well filled up. I mean, we're ready for a big show.
Yeah, I'm super excited, always super excited for this show, not only because it is the finale, it's the end of the season. We've got 4 classes here that will finish the points out here, and it's done for us after this weekend. The modified tractors, the 7,400-pound modifieds, we've got 12 of those tractors here tonight, going to be a great class. Super modified two-wheel drives, we've got a good battle for first and second in that way. It's either going to be Missouri or Texas, Don Nelson or Richard Morris. Pretty good battle going there. Really close. We're looking at 9 points. I'm sorry, that's pro stock, looking at 9 points. Two-wheel drives.
I think two
got all
my
my
stats
stats here.
Separating first and second there.
Yeah, 5 points between the two. Modified tractors. Cotton Candy pretty much has this one wrapped up. I think he could hook tonight and actually just go ahead and drive home tomorrow, and he still would wrap up the points here as the points champ. Limited Pro Diesel pickups, there's another close one, 2 points separating Megatron, Jason Wayman, and Skylar Leaper and Legal Limit. So that's going to be a really good battle there as well. So, yeah, if you're sitting at home right now and you're down here within a couple hours of the Pine Valley Raceway, man, don't delay. Get your butts out here. It's going to be an awesome show here tonight. We're also leading off with some Texas truck and tractor puller classes. We've got 5 hot farms going to make an appearance tonight. They're going to start off, as well as pro stock 4x4 pickups are going to be here. So 6 classes, and I think we got a couple of surprises, Dan, a couple of exhibition passes too.
We like surprises, yeah.
Always
good to see some hometown classes as well. The local pro farm class as well as the pro stock. Now, the pro stock trucks, they normally run on the outlaw circuit, but they finished their points up, about a month or so ago?
Yeah, September, late September. I can't remember the exact date. To be honest with you, there's a lot of dates rambling around here in my brain. But in Spencer, Iowa, that was the finale for the Pro Stock 4x4. And they added the class late, a couple of months ago. And if you add a class after May 15th, it won't be a points hook. We like to give our pullers a chance to make family plans and such throughout the summer. So we went ahead and added it, and we've got a handful of those Pro Stock 4x4 pickups down here for that class as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great weekend of pulling competition. Once again, if you're not within a couple-hour drive here of Lufkin, Texas, make sure you do check out Full Pull Live, and we're going to bring you all the action on there as well. Both nights of competition, 6 o'clock tonight and then 6:30 tomorrow night will be the go time for both of the shows, and all the classes will be running in both nights.
That's right. And one of the surprises that I was alluding to there a minute ago is Cody Lee lives down in Houston, Texas, pulls a couple of limited pro diesel pickups, him and his son. just purchased a super stock diesel pickup.
Okay.
He's going to be exhibitioning that truck tonight, so that's going to be cool. Yeah, like a 3,800 horse, something like that from that pickup. So should be cool to watch that, see him get his first pull in that truck under his belt here for this big crowd here in Lufkin, Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the opportunity to see Cody Lee this past summer a couple times out on the PPL circuit. We saw him up at the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. Had a little bit of issue up there. We won't go into that just yet, but had some issues up there. Ran a couple trucks. They got the farm truck and they got the Kong truck that they run. And like you said, going to make an exhibition run here with their new super stock truck. Now they plan on traveling the circuit a little bit with that?
You know, talking to him, he talks like he's going to travel and run points next year with Outlaws. And potentially, from what he said, I got the feeling that he might be getting another super stock diesel pickup, maybe for his son to drive. And was alluding to the fact that maybe another Texas Limited Pro puller might be getting one as well. So you might see some super stock diesels in the future with the Outlaws. Just putting that out there.
Well, that's always good to see. You know, class grow, and like you say, you've got, you know, in the Midwest, you've got quite a few of them. So, yeah, anytime you see new trucks out there, that's always good to see.
Yeah, and Lee actually, you know, the two trucks that he has, the Limited Pro stock pickups, top-of-the-line trucks. I mean, they went after and bought Dan Valence's farm truck, which is a former points champ here a couple years back, and then went after the Kong truck you were talking about. Used to be the Hill Brothers Dodge pickup, which is kind of almost a legendary truck too. As
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's kind of made its way through Missouri, then over to Kentucky, and yeah, the Hill Brothers truck always. And you never know. Adam Kincaid could show up here at any time.
Right.
You know, he's the hired gun. He's told me he's going to be down in Georgia next week, but who knows? He might make his way into Texas here with Megatron being here. You never know.
Right. So yeah, it's going to be a great night. If you can't be here, and by gosh, if you're within a couple hours, we want to see you here in the crowd. But the next best thing, of course, is, you know, Full Pull Live. And, of course, we've got some games going on with the pulling tonight, too. Have you been on? I've only been on once yesterday, but
I looked earlier in the week, so make sure you do check out Full Pull Picks and see how things are looking here for the weekend. I looked earlier this week, but I haven't seen it, as the entries were still coming in. So, I mean, as of, like, yesterday, I think they were still updating entries. So there's, you know, some guys on there that you didn't see earlier in the week. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty competitive.
Yeah, and it's, you know what, you think about it and you think, well, that could be pretty easy, right? But once you get those in front of you and you're like, and you start looking at stats, you know, you're like, well, I don't know. And there's a lot of head scratching there. But there is potential to actually win some money there watching at home on Full Pull Live. So, yeah, take a look at that. Full Pull Picks. Going to be betting on the three classes this weekend. Dan, help us out with that. I want to make sure I get the right ones. Three classes. Is it Pro Stock, two-wheel drive, and Mod?
Yes, those were the three that I saw. Yep.
Gotcha.
So those were the three that I had seen earlier in the week, and those are the ones. Oh. Okay, so they're telling us 4x4s as well. So.
Oh, the limited Pro diesel pickups. Okay.
3.0 trucks.
You know, I have my phone with me. I guess we could have just looked at that, Dan. So
you can do that, but from time to time, I bring mine out and it wants me to log in again. So that usually is what happens.
Best thing to do is just log on, Full Pull Picks, and make your picks there. You'll have the classes in front of you.
But once again, make sure you do get your picks in before that particular class pulls.
Right.
Once that class starts pulling, you're locked out. You can't get into it. So make sure you get them in there before that particular class pulls. And like I say, we're starting 6 o'clock here tonight. I don't know what we have for a schedule as far as what classes we're going to run, what order.
Well, I've got it right here, Dan. I've got the old Outlaw Pulling app here. The Outlaw Pulling app. I can tell you exactly what we got going on here in Lufkin.
So as you can see right behind us, track work going on right now. Track maintenance here. We're adding a little bit of water to this track. We're about, 90 degrees or so we talked about earlier.
About 88 degrees. You can hear the bass back there. They're sound checking for the concert tonight. There's actually a concert tonight at 10 o'clock on the big stage. Texas Hot Farm Tractors will lead us off. And then we go right for the 7,400-pound modifieds. They'll be the second class. Then Pro Stock 4x4. Then on to the Limited Pro Diesel Pickups. 10,000-pound Pro Stocks. And then the Super Modified two-wheel drives will be the last class. We like to run that two-wheel drive class last a lot because they do tend to chew the track up a little bit.
Okay.
But, yeah, that is your class order there for tonight. Hot Farm, Modified, Pro Stock 4x4, Limited Pro Diesel Pickups, 10,000-pound Pro Stocks, and Super Modified two-wheel drive.
Yeah, so going to be an outstanding program, and you're going to see both classes. They'll run for points both nights here in Lufkin. And like you say, how is the track here in Lufkin? I mean, this is what, the second year that you've been pulling here?
Well, this is our 5th year that we've pulled here, and we changed things up a little bit. The promoter was putting a little clay dirt in each year just shortly before the pull. And last year, I said, just hold off on dumping any more dirt in there. That settled from last year. Let's see how it does. We had a really good track last year, and it looks pretty good out there right now. They've watered it, dished it up, and sealed it in a little while ago. So I think we're going to have another good biting track here in Lufkin. And that sound you heard in the background there was a couple of semis rolling through the traps on the drag strip over there at 100-some miles an hour. So
that's the dragging part.
That's the dragging part.
The dragging, and we got the pulling part.
We're in charge of the pulling part. They got the dragging part. The showing part's going on up there. So awesome show here, though, folks. If you've never been here and you can't be here this year, make a plan to come here next year. This is one of those bucket list pulls.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, the fans have, are already. We're at 4 o'clock right now, and the fans are already, piling in here pretty good. And yeah, we're going to have an outstanding program. This is really exciting here.
Yeah, we got some good fans down here, pulling fans down here. They're the people that are sitting back here behind us. There were folks back here at 2 o'clock sitting out there. And I reminded a few of them, hey, you're a little early. And they're like, we don't. We just want to get a good seat. So, and this area over here, this is kind of the truck area on this side. And you'll see some of the wildest side-by-sides you've ever seen in your life. There are monster side-by-sides down here, Dan.
Okay.
Your monster trucks. We have monster side-by-sides down here. Pretty interesting vehicles rolling around here. A lot of show vehicles, but just an awesome show. A little bit of something for everyone.
Okay, so we got I see the pickups are backed up to the fence over here.
Right.
A la like Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and then over here on the back behind we've got the grandstand area with all the food vendors. And just checking out the layout here.
These rental bleachers back here, you see them, they have 3 of those. Last year they just had 2. The year before that they didn't have any. They just had some smaller bleachers. But every time they add some, they fill them every time. So it tells you this event is growing. It's growing. And really good to see. So great people. Also, let's talk about, Dan, what this show benefits. 100% of the proceeds benefit the Wyakin Foundation and Mission 22. Now, what those organizations do is they fight veteran suicide. 22 vets a day commit suicide on average. These 2 organizations fight against that. They want to reduce it. They want to wipe it out. We don't want our veterans coming back after they've served us, taking their own lives because, something's going on, whether, issues they're having with being at war or what have you. We want to help them. They did their part for us. We want to do our part for them. 100% of the proceeds from this event benefits those 2 awesome organizations. So a very patriotic event here this weekend as well.
Yeah, I see the Mission 22 scattered here throughout, the banners, and so that's what that all, good organization behind everything as we see some of our trucks heading back.
Yeah, I've never seen a 50 cal mounted to the back of a fifth wheel on a semi before. We just saw one go by. And I forgot to warn you, Dan, before this event, tomorrow night they will ask us to do push-ups out on the track. They invite all the fans out during an intermission to do 22 push-ups for Mission 22. Kelly's Truck Parts always puts up a lot of money if the fans can do that, come out and do 22 push-ups. I always join in. And then some other sponsors usually will jump in, too, and we raise a bunch of money for Mission 22 doing those push-ups out here during intermission tomorrow night. So get those arms and shoulders warmed up.
Wow, yeah. Double sessions. Yeah, it's been a while.
Woo. I don't know who does the counting on those 2, but they're really fast. I can do push-ups, but I can't do them that fast. So you could cheat a little bit,
Okay,
1, 2, down up, 1, 2,
yeah. Yeah, so there we go. We see the 50 cal on the back there, heading back towards the show and shine area here at the Lufkin facility. Beautiful facility, drag strip we've got set up here for the fans. Of course, that's we're down here at the end of the track, kind of like Benson, North Carolina kind of deal here. We got the pull track set up here at the end of the facility, and then up towards the road area, we've got the drag strip up there. So lots of great things going on here this weekend. And like I say, 6 o'clock, we're going to get rolling here with the Outlaw Show here tonight as we hear the band behind us getting things ready to roll as well. So 10 o'clock, pretty much, so 6 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, everything's pretty much done, and they let the band take over.
Yeah, we've got, I think, 55 hooks is what I've counted. So we're going to get those 55 hooks in those 4 hours allotted to us. And at 10 p.m., the band kicks off over there. And you'll have a huge crowd over here for the band as well. Going to be a great show tonight, man. Going to be a great show. I just wanted to go over some stats here for those folks out there that will go to the full pull picks, Dan. Looking at pro stock tractors. Now, this is probably going to be a tough bet for some folks out there because only 3 tractors that are competing tonight in that class of, what do we have in this class?
6 or 7.
6 pro stocks.
Yeah.
3 are points runners in the class. Gone, which is the points leader and last year's champion. Greg Jager, the Wampus Cat, currently in 3rd, but with the Lot of Green tractor not being here, he's going to leapfrog up into the number 2 spot this weekend, I'm sure. And Red Iron Rodney Davison in the number 4 spot. And as I said before, the 2 tractors out of Oklahoma, the Wagers, Lacey Wager, Caden Wager, those Case IH tractors, finished first. One of those tractors finished first in Whitewright, Texas, their first weekend out with those tractors. So they have the potential to get in here and get in between and get ahead of these points runners. So good luck betting out there. It's going to be tough. And we got one tractor out of Oklahoma or out of Illinois that's here in that pro stock class that we haven't seen mixed up with the Outlaws yet.
Yes, I did see that in the lineup there, that the 5.0 pro stocks that have become so popular there in the Midwest starting to. That's kind of cool, though. Everybody's kind of reaching out and going to these different events. And
yeah, they'd be Chuck Holsworth. He's out of Peoria, Illinois. Fly You Fool is the name of his pro stock. He is here. So going to be tough to make picks in that class. Seen a couple tractors that's only hooked a few times with us. One that hasn't hooked up with us before, mixing it up with 3 points runners down here in the Texas dirt where they don't normally run. So, yeah, that's going to be a good one to bet on. That's going to be a tough one. Modified tractors. Give you some stats in this class. Cameron Neves, 8 wins on the season, 15 top 5s out of 22 hooks in the class. And I will tell you that tractor, since Bloomfield, Iowa, in July 18th, he put the new tires on. He put the 12-ply Pro Pullers on. Since that time, he's won 8 out of 11 hooks. It really woke that tractor up. That's a good pick going with Cameron Neves. But then you got Wayne Longnecker, the River Rat, the
old
legend.
River Rat, yes.
The legend. He's got 1 win on the season, 13 top 5s, and, of course, you can never count out Longnecker. He's been doing this longer than most of us. Sweet Payne, here's another one, a legendary team.
Family, yeah.
The Ulmers, 4 wins, 12 top 5s on the season. The Twisted Whip, Donald Nelson, last year's champion, who won the championship here. That one came down to a battle between Sweet Payne and Twisted Whip, the Ulmers and Donald Nelson. He's 3 wins on the season. You can't count him out. This is kind of a hometown pull for
absolutely.
Donald Nelson. And he's debuting the brand new tractor here as well.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the Outlaw modified rules here. So they weigh in at 7,400 pounds, a little bit different than what we've seen out on some other circuits. Now they're allowed the 2 Hemi rule,
right,
or the 3 Chevrolet rule. Tell us about that.
The 2 Hemis, they can run 2 Hemis with the 1471 supercharger, which is the larger supercharger. They run wedge motors like a Chevy or a Ford. They can run 3 with a smaller 871 supercharger. Now, there is some variance on how hard they can turn the superchargers as well. I can't remember exactly what the percentages are, but I think they can turn the 1471s a little faster than the 3 can turn the 871s. I would have to go to the rule book for that, Dan. But, yeah, you can run 3 wedge motors. It's here or there. Most are going to choose the Hemis. That seems to be the way to go. But the Ulmers have really perfected that 3 Chevy combination. I would put them against any 3 wedge motor tractor in the country. I've said this all season. They're just on top of their game. They're constantly tweaking and trying to figure out where they can get power, where they can lose some weight and move more weight around. They're just a very competitive team with those 3 Chevrolets. And Donald Nelson debuting that new tractor, so now he's 2 twin Hemi tractors and the 1 DT 466 tractor, so 3 mods coming out of that camp and 3 two-wheel drives out of the Donald Nelson camp.
Yeah, they love their pulling over there in Cat Spring,
sure
Texas.
do.
I didn't get a chance to get over to Cat Spring. I'm hoping maybe tomorrow to get over there, and I gotta check out my all-time favorite pulling town. So I'm not too far away here.
Yeah, looking at modifieds as well. There for Twisted Whip, last year's champion. That's going to be tough between any of those those four I just mentioned, the Cotton Candy, the River Rat, the Sweet Pain, the Twisted Whip, and then you bring in the Stud Mule.
Yep.
You bring in Kent Urbach, the two very rare Aries power plants, the 12-liter or the 10-liter Aries.
10-liter Aries, yeah.
Very unique engine, and I will tell you, at Wisner, Nebraska this year in session 1, he was going 37 miles an hour before he bent the push rods, and I'm expecting big things out of that tractor. If he can get the weight right on it, you just never know. He could be a wild card in there.
Well, and then also you've got an invader here this weekend coming down from Kentucky.
That's right. Let's talk about the Kentuckian.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Wayne Sullivan here with the Kentuckian running here this evening with the modified class. Now, normally when they run this setup with the two engines, they're only allowed 6,200 pounds. So they've got another 1,200 pounds they can mess with here. And look out for that tractor.
Yeah, and he told me, and he came to Whitewright, Texas, did a little better on Saturday night than he did on Friday night, but he said they were looking for places to hang weight. They're not used to hanging that much weight on the tractor. But he said, I'd like to get another crack at those guys down there. And, of course, this week he just put on a new set of those 12-ply Pro pullers.
Yes.
So he's ready to try some things out and try to get him a win or two here.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how, like you say with that weight deal, how that's going to work out here. Because normally they'll add that third engine, for the 7,500-pound class, so they don't really have a lot of that excess weight. So this ought to be really interesting how that'll work out here for them.
Kind of interesting that's all come full circle for me, Dan. Where I grew up in southern Ohio, used to watch the Sullivan's pull all the time. Grew up the small track there, Tays Valley Tractor Pullers, just a few miles from my house where I grew up. Used to go talk to these guys in the pit area as a kid.
I was going to say Warsaw is not too far from where you grew up.
Right, not far at all. And they were regulars, there at Tays Valley. I have pictures of them, from back when I was a kid. And now here I am out in the Midwest, and here they are down in Texas at a pull that, I happen to be announcing. It's super cool for me. Appreciate those guys coming, Wayne and Donnie and their crew. And then you got another wild card in that modified class. Let's talk about the non-piston engine in there.
Yes, absolutely. We got the turbine.
Yep.
The twin. Now, brand new setup here for 2024, isn't it?
Yeah, he used to run one of those T55s, and we did some testing to kind of make sure they were going to be at the right level with our tractors.
Okay.
We tested different percentages because on the turbines you can turn them up and turn them down. And we finally settled on 100%. So two turbines, two twin T55s, Chinook helicopter turbines on the Petch tractor, Thermal Thunder. They've had some troubles with it this summer. They busted a rear end, busted a gearbox, tore some things up. They used to have one of those motors on it running at 100%. Now they've got two. They've doubled the horsepower. But they're right there in that 6,000, just over 6,000 RPM range with them sitting at 100%. They do benefit from cooler air and testing, and talking to them. It gets down into the 60s, their horsepower starts to creep up a little bit. These turbines like the cool air. They're going to be second class here. Is it going to be cool by then? I don't know. That sun drops, it might start to cool off a little bit, might benefit them.
Yeah, we'll see. Now these turbine engines, though, aren't they government rated? That is how the rules are normally written. So they'll take, a certain serial number. As last weekend down in Raleigh, North Carolina, we talked to Don Dean, the turbine wizard, and he was telling me for regional limits, he's got 3 different turbines on that tractor, so he gets right at that limit that he is allowed for the ratings. Right. So he says, that same kind of, I forget what the rating was, 5,500 or something like that. But he says, yeah, we're one more horsepower will be illegal. Over. So, yeah.
Yeah, most turbine classes you run it at military spec, they call it. What they're spec'd for when they're in the helicopter in the military. Like these engines are from a T-55. Actually, one of those engines came out of Miss Budweiser, which is kind of a neat little tidbit of info there.
Yeah,
was on the offshore racing boat.
The hydroplanes, right? The unlimited hydroplane boats. Yeah,
unlimited hydroplane. But, they can run them at 100%. They can actually turn them down if they need to, but they are running at 100%. Our light modifieds, now we have a light modified. This is considered our heavy modified with the Outlaws, the 7,400. We have a 6,000-pound modified class. Several turbines in there, and they're allowed to run water injection on those units, which actually takes up space in the combustion chamber, gives it more horsepower. Not in the 7,400-pound class, though. They have to run at military spec, no water injection.
Okay. Yeah, very curious to see how that tractor is going to run here this weekend, and looking forward to seeing that machine back out on the circuit. They, for many years, were out there, supporters of the Outlaw circuit, so good to see them back out here once again. And then let's talk about that 3.0 diesel truck class.
Now, 9 hooks so far for these guys on the season. They'll have 11 total on the season after this weekend. You know, coming off of last year, the spooled-up truck was the champion. He finds himself down in 3rd place right now. But the battle was between 1st and 2nd. Only 2 points separating Jason Wayman and Megatron and Skylar Leeper. And the legal limits, I always like to talk about Skylar because where he's from. I always like to tell folks, you know, he's from California, Missouri. So I've got to leave that pause in there.
Yeah.
But 2 points, 4 wins for Wayman and Megatron on the season, 3 for Leeper and legal limits. And Wayman kind of, I'm not sure. Now, you're a pulling historian, Dan. Mm-hmm. Wayman coming off of a championship with the PPL's Western Series.
Yep.
He could literally win 2 championships in the same season. Now, who has done that in the past? Has that happened?
Let's see. Jeff Hurt did it.
Okay.
Last year in PPL, first guy to win 2, championships there. He won the mini rod in the the unlimited super stock class. He had done that. But as far as 2 different organizations in the same year, I'd have to look on that one.
With the same vehicle.
That's tough to do.
Yeah. So he's kind of getting into pulling history here. This could be something of note for the pulling historians out there.
Well, you talk about, those trucks from Missouri, but now we got these trucks from Texas here to mix it up with them. So, this is going to be great. This is going to be a good class to watch, no doubt.
Yeah, some really good trucks. The Kong truck you talked about, the farm truck, former points champion with us. And I've got my stats here for our points runners, but I'm going to go to the Outlaw app and look at all of our entries. We have 12 of those 10 signed up here. I thought we had 12. We've got 10 so far. Yeah, Megatron, the Perkins diesel truck, Preston Collins, the farm truck, Xander Lee, Skyler Leeper and Legal Limits, Jeremy Bales and All Hopped Up. That's a Texas truck. Emily Schaefer and Borrowed Time, a Texas truck as well. Dan Balance is driving the Thunderstruck truck tonight. Say that 5 times real fast, the Thunderstruck truck. He'll be driving that for Preston Collins. The Hillbilly Bone Unleashed, which is Jesse Knight, a good friend of mine from he used to pull with me in the Flint Hills Truck Pullers.
Yeah.
He's out of Lebo, Kansas. Of course, Ryan Stahl and Spooled Up. And Buck Heineman, the Ready to Rumble truck, is here out of Texas as well. So a stacked Limited Pro Diesel pickup class here tonight. Take your picks. If that one's been bet on, good luck with that one, too.
Yeah, like I say, you can take the Missouri trucks, you can take the Texas trucks, mix them all together. Good luck, because, that's going to be a tough one there. Now, 2-wheel drives, another class where you can just take them all in a bowl and kind of mix them up. And
Right.
Yeah, from top to bottom, good luck.
And biggest class of the night, I'm seeing 13. We had 15 signed up on the app, but we have 13 so far that have actually signed in. David Hunt, of course, you've dealt with him. David Hunt's been running some MTPA hooks this season and doing very well.
Yes, absolutely. David and John, both real tough competitors. And they've got their other truck that we don't normally see on the Grand National circuit here this weekend, so that ought to be pretty cool.
Yep, Robert Zychek, the Gunsmoke. Now, here's a guy you never want to count out in two-wheel drive. He is one of the best track readers around. I've seen this guy take a chewed-up track and find a line and last draw in the two-wheel drive class and come out and beat everybody, so you can never count him out. Of course, Donald Nelson, the Little Whip. Edwin Anderson, the Texian. Donald Nelson again with Whippet. Donnie Sullivan with the big stick here. Now, how did he do over there with the NTPA this year?
This year finished up in the number 4 spot out on the Grand National circuit there this year and was in contention to pick up another championship. He is the defending champion on the Grand National circuit from 2023, so was in contention that final weekend there when everything kind of got jumbled up. I think we had 6 or 7 competitors that had a chance to take that championship that weekend. So, yeah, he was right in the mix as well. So he's here. He's got red in his eyes. He's ready to go.
He's ready.
He's ready.
The Texas Bullseye, Dustin Corliss. Another bad decision, Ray Miller. He was last year's champion. Good running truck. Missed some hooks this year. Finds himself down in the standings. He had a back injury and had to tend to that, so took him out of contention for that points championship this year. Of course, the Buffalo's Chips. A winner from a couple of seasons back. He's leading the pack as far as points go. Richard Morris. One of the more interesting two-wheel drives, that Steel Willie's truck body on there.
Yeah, for a long time.
And he's one of those guys, Dan, that he doesn't back off that throttle unless it stops. I mean, there could be flames all around him, and he's going to He's going to have that throttle all the way
Hammer
forward
down
until he sees a red flag or until the thing stops. Timmy Mikowski, thumper. Timmy Mikowski has been around a long time. Cameron Pascal, the high cotton. Shameless 2, John Hunt. And in Cole Zychek, the Texas two-step. The two Zycheks, the father-son Zychek team, multiple points championships with the Outlaws over the year. Very tough team.
Absolutely, and kind of running a limited schedule here the last couple of years. They really haven't run for points like they have in previous season, but like I say, whenever they show up, look out because they're tough.
Right, and this was kind of close to home for him. You know, Cole building a house, he's tending to family, building a new house and things like that. It's understandable. Take a break off of Pullin for a few years and then come back with a vengeance, And I think we're going to see more of that team in 2025. I really do.
Yeah, good to see them. Always tough. Like you say, no matter where they show up, they are right in the mix with your tough running two-wheel drives here in Texas.
Yeah, that two-wheel drive class, make your picks, but there's a lot to choose from and a lot of good runners. I can't count any of them out, not a single one. So going to be an awesome night, folks. Tune in live at Full Pull Live, and make sure you make your picks before the class starts. As Dan said earlier, once the class starts, betting is locked out. You cannot bet on the class once it starts. So get those picks in early. You never know, sitting at home on your couch, even if you're sitting here in a crowd tonight, you could actually make some money at the Tractor Pull.
Yep, absolutely. And, try a couple different ones. You sign up, you get that $20 free. So make sure if you're not a subscriber, make sure you do sign up, get your $20 free. Doesn't cost you anything. See, it's more or less play money. Go out there and see what you can do.
Absolutely. So show starts at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you're watching on the East Coast, you'll be watching at 7 p.m., but tune in live. Going to be an awesome show. And I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, Dan.
Absolutely. And like you say, fans, if you're within a couple-hour drive of here, you better get going because we're going to get rolling here pretty quick. So Lufkin, Texas, going to be the place to be here this weekend, the Outlaw Finals. And glad to be a part of it.
Yep, this is it for us after tomorrow night. Here in Lufkin, Texas, those 4 classes, limited pro diesel pickups, pro stock tractors, super modified two-wheel drives, and modified tractors. It's all in the history books for the year for the Outlaws. And of course, we're building already the schedule for 2025, Dan, and it's I do that scheduling, and man, is it kind of tough. I'm getting a lot of new calls from promoters and some new things happening with us. And 2025 is going to be our best year yet, I think.
Well, you talk about, off season. What off season is there really anymore? I mean, we're still pulling here, and, applications gone out for Louisville already. They already had to be back, so it's like before you know it, it's going to be January, February, and schedules come out. You got, what kind of presence the Outlaw have as far as, PRI show? You guys involved with different shows and stuff promoting?
Yeah, we'll be at PRI. I actually get to go this year.
Okay.
I haven't been in 5 years, and I'm a gearhead. Dan, I walk around and see all the parts and ooh and ah and see things and say, hey, I had that idea one time. Lots of neat parts, and you see some famous people there as well.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
The best part I love about the PRI show, the last time I went, it was still in Orlando, but I love when you go up and you check, hey, this is, if you're running a sealed engine, okay, this right here, well, the guy right next to it is how to beat the sealed engine, so I always found that pretty funny, oh, here's the guy, we seal them and this, that, and this guy shows you how to cheat the system, and yeah, it's pretty cool how everybody's got, the different ideas, and always good to see what everybody comes out with each and every year.
Yeah, and seeing the newest, the latest and greatest parts and technology, and of course technology is huge in our sport. You go back, I'll just make a comparison, when I was growing up, watching my favorite class at the time was modified four-wheel drive, Guys were making 700 horse, modified four-wheel drive. Now they're making 1,900 horse, in the same class. It's crazy.
I always go back to the fact that you take a look at like a Tim Engler with the Aries engines back then, 1,500 horse apiece. Now we're making 3,000 horse. We've doubled that in 30 years.
Yeah, the wedge motors are making more power than the blown motors were, the blown Hemis were back then. So, yeah, technology is amazing and doesn't seem to be an end in sight for that. They're just going to keep pushing the envelope for those parts, and we're going to keep making horsepower. And the sleds are going to keep trying to figure out a way to stop them.
And that's what I was just going to say. This poor sled operator's got to come up to stop all this high horsepower. So they got to come up with different ways and methods to get it all shut down, put on the best possible show.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't realize that the sled operators sometimes have to take 2 trucks to get enough weights. Of course, if they're running an unlimited mod back in your neck of the woods, they're going to have to take 2 trucks to get all that weight to the pull.
Right, and you will never see unlimited mods running with super semis on a different track at the same time because they have to share the weights, like you said.
Right.
You know, so that's just one of those things that you got to do.
Yeah, we actually had the Owens family from New York was going to come down this weekend, and they were going to bring their 4-engine mod and a twin engine, pull the twin engine in competition, do some testing on the 4-engine, and unfortunately we didn't have enough weight here to stop them. The sled operator, Donnie Bungart, they said their sled was 250 pounds within regulation, 250 pounds shy of the limit, the load limit, and he was carrying about 3,000 pounds of weight with him, and then we have a spare weight that one puller down here keeps down here, and we need all those weights to stop the mods here, and he said there's no way I could stop that unlimited. So Owens decided to go ahead and stay home, but would have been cool to see him down here if we could have had the weight.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually had time to get away from haying. I mean, he's been so busy with haying. I'm kind of surprised that he would be able to actually get down here and do that. But no, good folks up there in Montgomery, New York, Tom and Dylan Owens. And, yeah, it would have been neat to see him down here, but like you say, just not enough weight to get him stopped, and that's the name of the game. Got to do it safely.
Yeah. Dan, I think that's our warning call over there. We probably should wrap it up here. Yeah, that sounds good.
You go, Ron. You can go over there and sing with him.
Yeah. I did sing over there 2 years ago. I did sing over there.
National anthems,
Heck yeah.
But once again, fans, make sure 6 o'clock start time here tonight. If you can't be here, Full Pull Live, and as well, get your picks in before a particular class starts. I think we said they got 4 or 5 classes you're able to. I got to check out the app, but Full Pull picks and get those picks in here before they get rolling. And like I say, we got to get rolling because they're testing out here.
Yeah, they sound better than us, by the way. So,
well, that's what they're paid to do.
Well, thanks, Dan Mayer. And you go ahead and do the outro here. This is your show. But we appreciate everybody that's going to watch tonight. Get those bets in. Going to be a great weekend here. The best ever show here at Lufkin, Texas. Just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, going to be an outstanding program here. The Outlaw Finals here both Friday and Saturday night. Tonight, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, 6:30. And we will be back here tomorrow afternoon, 4:30, for another Countdown to Pull Time show where we will preview the final event for the Outlaw Circuit here for 2024. We'll see you all back here 6 o'clock tonight when we get rolling with tonight's program.